All right, guys. I'm a little sweaty. I took my sweater off, and I'm a little out of breath. Anyway, you know, as a bench jeweler, goldsmith, you spend a lot of time sitting in this chair right here, and I have a bunch of work to do. But man, did I have a headache? I had a headache, and I was so tired. Like I could literally fall asleep at my chair. And not because I've even been overworked. I just think life circumstances. We live in a mountainous area, but all the clouds settle in the valley, so there's this inversion thing. And so you never see the sun. And yesterday we went skiing for the first time since I was 10 years old. It was amazing, and we saw some sun, which was good. But man, today I literally was almost falling asleep. So I'm like, I got to do something. I text my wife. She's at home with the kids right now, and she's like, "Have you drank any water?" And that's what I always ask her and the children when they're not feeling well or they have a bad headache. I'm like, "Did you guys drink your water?" And no, I didn't. I had a smoothie, I had some tea, I had some coffee, no water. So I just drank a mug of water. And then I did 100 push-ups and 100 air squats here in the studio. And, it just got me thinking, us people at the bench or people who work at computers, people who sit all day long, it can be dangerous for our health to be sitting. I don't think we were intended to sit all the time. That's not how the Creator made us. He made us to be moving. All of Scripture is written about agriculture, work in the fields, all that kind of stuff. We will eat by the sweat of our brow, is what the Bible says. And so we're meant to be moving. We're meant to be using our muscles and whatever. Well, me sitting at this bench, I'm using these muscles and my brain and my feet to push pedals, but that's really it. I'm not going to sweat unless I'm setting an emerald or something that's, super stressful, but there's no sweating involved. I noticed my body over the years has gotten really tight. I find myself going like this, and my hip flexors are tight. And so I've just noticed this year specifically, I hit 44 years old a couple months ago. I just have noticed in my 40s, my body is not what it used to be as far as like rejuvenation, getting back to, bouncing back quickly. I need to be stretching. I'm very, very tight. So anyway, just a little reminder to all you guys at the bench, at a computer, whatever, take a break. It takes 10 minutes or less to do 100 air squats and 100 push-ups. You'll get a little sweat going. You'll feel way better. Drink some water. Get out and stretch. Take long, exaggerated steps so you're stretching your hip flexors, because when your knees are in a sitting position all the time, your hips take on a lot of pressure and you become tight in the front. So if you can stretch that back leg when you're walking, take a long exaggerated step and keep doing that. Do that around the block, just get out and get in the fresh air, even if there's no sun, even if it's freezing rain, drizzle, snowing, whatever. We are made to be outside. Obviously we need shelter too. But anyway, just a thought I had today. I'll show you my bench too here and what I have going on today. Okay, the workload today, I got to be careful. I don't want you to see the names on these, but there's a few projects on my bench that need to be done today. So I need to get rolling. There's a couple more over there I need to do some stuff with. And so I've got a bunch of pieces I need to put together just for the case. And yeah, the bench is just, organized chaos like always. But that's the way it goes. I'm trying to move things through quickly in my studio. I've kind of changed up how I view this work. I used to do more custom, it seems like, and those lead times would be weeks, sometimes a month, and it's just tough. It's tough doing a project that takes that long, and maybe it doesn't have to take that long. That's just how long it was taking me. So I've really switched it up lately, especially in my new location. We've been here three years in this town, just over a year in this exact studio. And what I've noticed is what people really appreciate is speed. So, for instance, ring sizings have become pretty much the number one thing I do now, which I, in the past, thought that was below me. Silly me, being a prideful person. It's not below me. How beneficial is it to the person wearing the ring to get it sized swiftly, efficiently, and get it back on their finger the same day or the next day or in a week or so? Some of these places are taking 6 weeks to size a ring. So I've kind of changed my philosophy to not drive through jewelry repair or anything like that, or one of those fix-it franchises. I'm not that. But I have noticed that people really appreciate the speedily doing their work so they can get the ring back on their finger. And when they do, it looks like new again and it fits, and it's like, whoa, this has been in my drawer for 20 years. I just haven't worn it, and I think it's time to get it sized. And they come into me, and instead of waiting another week or 2 or 10, they get it the same day or the next day, and they really, really appreciate it. I've had so many people be thankful for how quickly I can get things done. So, and I'm not saying speed is everything. Of course, the quality has to be top notch and everything else. And I do have this sign, which it's probably backwards. Maybe it's not backwards to the camera, but it is. And I've shown this on a video before. We offer 3 kinds of service: good, cheap, and fast. You can pick any 2. You can only pick 2. So you can get it good and cheap, but it won't be fast. You can get it fast and good, but it won't be cheap. You can get it cheap and fast, but it won't be good. I've tried to kind of debunk this whole thing. I'm trying to do good and fast, and cheap, not so much. I'm pretty much in line with everybody else in my area on how much it is that I size rings for, although it's 10 times what I used to charge back in 2010. And it has to be, because everything costs more. And people are understanding of that, I've noticed. They want their ring size, they want to be able to wear it, and so they're willing to pay to wear it. And when it comes to sterling silver rings, it's a little different story. Most of the time, the repair or the sizing costs more than the ring that they purchased. Although that hasn't deterred people from sizing the ring, because it has sentimental value. The sentimental value means way more than the material value to everyone that I've met. Grandfather gave this to me. My grandmother gave this to me. My mom, when she was alive, we had this special bond, and she gave me this ring. And it's a sterling silver ring, maybe worth $30, or they purchased it for $30. And I tell them it's going to cost me $75 to $100 to size it. Now, some people will say, whoa, Adam, what are you doing? That's way too much. But think about it. It costs me the same amount of time. The material that I'm using or adding to the ring to make it larger or whatever, yeah, there's some value there too. But the majority of the expense is my time. And how can you measure a man's time? In our culture, it's like measured by, I don't even know how it's measured. By education, maybe. A doctor is paid X amount of dollars per hour, supposedly. But then you have a custodial worker who makes $15 per hour, $12 per hour, $18 per hour, and the doctor's making $500 an hour, whatever it is. But in the eyes of the Creator, the one who created us all, how much is our time worth? How much is my time worth versus someone else's, or the example I just gave? No different. They're valued the same in the eyes of the Most High. So when it comes to us valuing a service or a good, granted, I understand that doctor or whoever, lawyer, dentist, tech guru, whoever, they have hours and hours and hours of time invested into what they know. They should be compensated for that accordingly. The janitorial person, almost anyone can do that job. I'm not discounting that either. There's a vast disparity between the two. Although, when it comes to looking at the person and who they are, they're right here. Who they are is the same in the eyes of the Most High. So when we start to value people based on their profession, their occupation, what they do for making this fake paper money that we have, it's so much more than that. We can't do that as people, okay? When it comes to goods and services, we're going to pay more for someone who has been doing it longer, can do it quicker and better, or is more educated. Definitely. Although when it comes to the person, you meet them at a party, a birthday party, a gathering of some sort, and you shake hands with the doctor and you shake hands with the custodial worker. It's this question, okay? It's, nice to meet you, I'm Adam. Nice to meet you, I'm Joe. And instead of asking, well, what do you do? No, no, no. That's the wrong question we're asking, all right? It's got to be, oh, Joe, well, what makes you Joe? Who are you? That's the question. Who are you? And that will give you a greater answer and insight into their life and who they are versus what do you do? What do you do is, yeah, it can be interesting, and we all kind of socially categorize ourselves based on that, but that's not the true version of that person, you know? The custodial worker could have been on track to be an astrophysicist or whatever, but something happened, right? He had a series of setbacks, and now he's a custodial worker or homeless or whatever. And the doctor, he maybe put his nose to the grindstone and he worked really, 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 really hard, or got a series of good breaks in his life, or whatever it may be, and now he's a doctor. You just never know. But the man in the lower social category position could have vastly greater wisdom in the way of insight into life and all those kinds of things versus the person on the higher status who has only seen things through his eyes. It's good to know both. That's what I'm trying to get at. Every man is equal in the eyes of the Creator, or how he created us. Anyway, that was long. I didn't intend to get into that in this video. Way different than my normal videos. I'm normally at the bench just showing you what I'm doing, but I don't know, that just came to mind as I was talking about pricing and how I'm pricing my jewelry. The more years of experience I have, I feel like the more I can charge because of that experience. After 20 years at the bench, I know a couple things, and that just plays into the pricing. Anyway, guys, Adam the First Man, Stonehouse Jewelry Studio. Keep coming back to the channel for whatever kind of content I'm going to put up next. It's typically jewelry related, but that's my profession or something I'm gifted at or whatever. But that's not who I am. Jewelry is just this ring on my finger. Yeah, it represents my marriage and what goes along with that. But this isn't me. I don't even wear jewelry hardly. I just happen to like metallurgy. That's a gifting I've been given. So that's what I'm doing. I'll keep going and going. All right, guys. We'll see ya.